My name's Harrington. During my PhD, one of the things that we're trying to understand is how do we detect the emergence of a signal of climate change above what would consider to be natural variability. We have year-to-year variations in weather and climate, and then we have a mean signal, a slowly changing signal of climate change. And we wanted to figure out what are the different ways and means in which we could quantify how rapidly that signal of climate change is revealing itself, it's emerging above what we'd describe as natural variability in the climate system. We developed a variety of tools to be able to do that. What we found is when we see any level of warming happening, the impacts associated with that warming, they're felt disproportionately by lower income countries, particularly those countries that are in lower latitudes. The changes themselves, the climate hazards, are actually emerging faster as well in these places where people live who are less equipped to cope with these rapidly warming signals. And that's true whether you're comparing the past to the present, but it's also true whether you're looking from the present day into the future as well. Ultimately, whenever we're talking about climate change, we're trying to motivate action, whether that's reducing emissions, getting resources in the right place so the right people can be reducing their emissions, but also building their resilience to these changes that are happening. If we don't reduce our emissions, then we're going to need to adapt. We're going to need to provide resources to those countries that are going to have to adapt more than others. And if we don't provide those resources to the places that need it, and they can't adapt, they're going to be suffering losses and damages. Those are the sort of three ways in which we're going to have to be tackling climate action. But for us to be able to really understand where do we allocate a finite amount of resource, whether that's money or otherwise, we need to have a decent evidence base to understand where are the places that have the greatest need.